All right, you see all this? I got a whole pile of wood that's been sitting there for over a year, and I need to get it cut before it rots completely away on me. I'm behind this year, so today I'm putting this 22-ton log splitter to work and showing you why it's one of the most simple tools every homesteader ought to have on their farm. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is where we go over the real tools that earn their keep around the homestead. No fluff, just stuff that works. This is the second one in the series, and today it's the ToolTuff HyperSplit 22-ton. I'm gonna walk you through what it is, go over the specs, and then we're gonna put this thing to work on the pile. Let's get into it. Let me walk you around this thing first. This is the ToolTuff HyperSplit 22-ton, and 22-ton means it can put down 22 tons of splitting force on whatever you feed it. Powered by a Kohler engine, it's 196 cc, 6.5 horsepower pull start, simple, nothing fancy. Here's the number that matters to me the most, a 6-second cycle time. That's the ram going forward and back. ToolTuff says that it's about twice as fast as your typical hydraulic splitter, and when you've got that pile like this, that speed starts to add up fast. It takes a log up to 40 inches around and about 22 inches long. And the big one for the Homestead. It works both ways, horizontal for normal splitting, and you tip it vertical for the giant rounds that you can't lift up on the beam. A few things that tell you it's built to last. 3/4 inch hydraulic hoses instead of your typical skinny 1/2 inch on the cheaper units. A double seal cylinder, double thick steel on the cradle and stripper plates, and dual log catchers so your splits aren't hitting the ground all over the place. Wedge on the 9-inch as well, and it rolls on 16-inch highway rated tires with a 2-inch ball coupler, so you can tow it where you need it. And ToolTuff backs it with a 5-year warranty on the steel and 3 years on the hydraulics. Runs about $1,200. Now let's see what this thing could actually do. Setup on this is about as simple as it gets. Level ground and make sure it's locked in so it doesn't roll on you. Check your oil and gas before you start, same as any small engine. Choke on, couple pulls, and she's running. For the most of the pile, I'm gonna be running it horizontally, but when it gets to those big rounds that I can't lift, I'll drop it into vertical position and split them right down on the ground. Let me show you how it runs. Let's start with an easy one. Set the log on the beam, one hand on the lever, and there it goes. 6 seconds, front to back. That's the only thing I don't like about it. You know, the only little thing that I don't, let me move it to the side so I can show you guys, that kind of bothers me is the angle of these blades. When it pushes up, this one that's vertical right here just happens to push up the wood a lot, and then you get a piece of wood wedged down over here. One of the problems that I was doing before was I was trying to take a large log and run it through the splitter when it should have been sitting upright, because the way that the actual engraved metal hooks inside there that are used to hold on to the log, my cuts were a little bit slanted, so it wasn't gripping that well, and that's why it was pushing it off to the top. That shouldn't really be the case if it was actually in a vertical position. So what I want to do now is I want to try the log splitter in a vertical position with a larger log. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. And this is why vertical mode matters. This round here, I'm not lifting into anything. Tip the machine, split it right where it sits. I'll be straight with you about how it's holding up as I work through the pile. right, here's my honest take. For a homesteader with a pile like this to get through, this thing earns its spot. The speed is the real story. That 6-second cycle means you're not standing around, and the vertical mode means you're not busting your back on these big rounds. I mean, I put some really large logs to it, and if you're gonna put a big log to it, make sure it's on a vertical setting, because I mean, at the end of the day, it really is hard for it to kind of hold itself there. So it kind of uses a little bit more leverage on the bottom. You can secure it just a little bit easier. And it pretty much pummeled through the largest logs that I had. I mean, I've really put it over to really what it's really spec'd for. It only bogged down one time, but if you kind of stop it and then just adjust it a little bit more, it'll definitely go through it. But at the end of the day, this is definitely worth the money to actually have at your homestead or your farm, to have somewhere where you could tow it around really quick on the side-by-side or on the tractor. Now, at the end of the day, it's definitely worth a buy. I'm so sorry it's so hot out here. It's about 100 degrees here in Florida, and we're just trying to get through it right here. So if you like what you've seen here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to the channel so you can catch me on the next video as we go ahead and try all the tools that you're gonna find on a farm or a homestead actually make a difference. Talk to you soon.